stars you were chasing shine bright deep inside you. When will you ever let it shine from within and cast all of your fears aside? You'll see the light.
Hello and welcome back to Kingdom Reviews. I'm your host, Future Keybearer. Today we're looking at some fun facts about Dream Drop Distance. Though the only real interesting stuff is cut content. Starting kinda small, the Queen Buzzerfly dive boss was originally going to be just a standard enemy. No idea why they changed it, but I will admit this design does work better for a boss. Speaking of bosses, supposedly there's evidence to suggest that at one point the player could obtain spirit variants of all the Dream Eater bosses. They probably wouldn't have been as big, but it would have been cool nonetheless. Next, much like in Birth by Sleep, the Kingdom Key D was considered for a Keyblade that Sora could obtain. But I imagine once again that it was cut because doing so might kinda break the game's lore a smidge. Now let's talk about cut world content. For starters, originally in the grid, Sora was actually going to return to the Space Paranoids from KH2 while Riku goes to the grid proper. While I admit it would have made Xemnas' comment about this world being the original Encom system make more sense, because, you know, the grid and the Space Paranoids are two separate computer systems in the movies. Granted, Space Paranoids was the name of a video game and not the operating system, but semantics. I am overall glad they decided against this idea because of what they did with Rinsler/Tron. Continuing on the two movies in one world train, in Symphony of Sorcery, originally Sora was going to go to locales from the original Fantasia, while Riku would visit locations from Fantasia 2000. It was eventually decided that the original movie had more than enough material for the developers to work with. While I do agree with that sentiment, it is mildly disappointing, as I personally would have loved to see areas based off the Rhapsody in Blue and Firebird Suite segments. Plus, having the connecting thread between Sora and Riku's stories be the Sorcerer's Apprentice would have been extra brilliant, as that segment is in both Fantasia films. Finally, a world that was fully cut from the game was none other than Treasure Planet, as evidenced by the fact that in the game's code exists an unfinished map of the RLS legacy. And yeah, this was very disappointing. For one thing, the Venn diagram of KH fans and Treasure Planet stands as practically a circle. 2, the dream angle would allow for the scene where the planet, you know, goes poof, and still allow Sora and Riku to return to it for level grinding and finding chests. And finally, this bit.
He used his portal. Portal?
Yeah, I briefly mentioned this while looking at the grid, but between Tron Legacy, Treasure Planet, and Joshua bringing it up in Traverse Town, I really think that portals were going to be a much bigger element in the game's plot. Or at least, in Riku's side anyway. No idea what the significance would be, but it's fascinating to think about. Well, that's it for this episode. Tune in next time as we view the Age of Fairy Tales.